block on Dedeat Pascal Siakam at the rim. Raptors got the win, though.
Very seldom you see something like that.
Ooh.
I mean, my goodness, how you timed that just perfect?
Man, he came
what a block.
Blind spot. Siakam had no idea he was there.
No, he didn't see him.
Man, that guy's a great athlete, Aaron Gordon.
Celtics, Hawks, Jason Tatum getting it done on both ends with the steal and the flush. Watch it.
Man, I don't know how the Celtics ended up losing this game. This was a game, full disclosure, I was not watching, was watching the Masters doing some other things. Celtics were up big. Every time I checked in on the game, the Celtics were up big. Then all of a sudden the Hawks ended up winning it.
Man, Jason Tatum has had a spectacular rookie season.
Yep. If we weren't having two great rookie years, most years Tatum would be the rookie of the year. Let me put it like that.
Yes.
Jazz, Lakers, CeCe's favorite rookie of the year, Donovan Mitchell, behind the back dishes to Joe Ingles. Jazz clinch a playoff berth with the win.
Yeah. Go ahead. Big for the Jazz. I watched an interview with Ricky Rubio last night, and he talked about how impressive he was with Donovan Mitchell. His ability to stay focused day in and day out, how hard he works on his game, not like a rookie. Bright things in Utah.
How about the Jazz and the Pacers losing their franchise star and now qualifying for the playoffs? Again, top 5 seeds for both of them.
Pistons, Grizzlies. Talk about a heavyweight matchup. Dylan Brooks catches the long outlet pass in midair, throws the alley-oop. Wait, watch it. Boom.
It's Ivan Robb?
Yeah.
Nothing like
Ivan
Game
Robb
80, Dylan Brooks, Ivan Robb connection. That's what Memphis has been missing this year. They are trotting out not even a G League team.
That's a good line.
I mean,
a lot of empty seats up there.
Man. My wife's best friend has season tickets to the Grizzlies. I mean, they can move down like it's the old.
That's not something you can put on your asset sheet.
Right. 2 months after Philly became the best team in football, Philly now poised to do the same in basketball. They got a big win over the Cavs on Friday night. Sunday, they followed it up with a win over the Mavs, their 14th straight win in a row. Philly currently sits as the 3 seed in the Eastern Conference. Way to trust the process. Nick, how much of a threat are the 76ers to the Cavs now in the East? Seeing what you've seen over the last 14 games.
Seeing what I've been seeing over the last 14 games, seeing Ben Simmons assert himself in this league without Joel Embiid. Man, I filled out my All-NBA ballot this weekend. The hardest person not to include was rookie Ben Simmons. He might already be one of the 20 best players in the league. That's not even to mention Embiid, who clearly already is one of the 20 best players in the league. And by the way, he'll be back. If there is any threat in the East to the Cavs, it is not Toronto. It is certainly not Boston. It's not the plucky Pacers or the defensive-minded Heat. It is these Philadelphia 76ers. And when you add to it, Markelle Fultz coming off the bench, little energy sixth man, going to give you 20 minutes and somehow 15 points in those 20 minutes. I do not believe Philadelphia has the requisite experience to win 3 rounds in the playoffs, which is what they would have to be because of where they're going to fall, either 3-4 or 4-3 with Cleveland. They wouldn't even be able to meet each other until the Eastern Conference Finals. But that might, I mean, that's positive for Cleveland, by the way, because it's going to give them a couple rounds to get their full roster there, to try to get in full playoff mode. Because Philly right now is playing better than any team in the league except for Houston. And they are a dangerous team that takes high-efficiency shots. That addition of Bellinelli and Ilyasova has been underrated. So I said, what was it, 6 weeks ago, a month ago, CC, that if you were to tell me someone other than the Cavs made the finals, I would say it's Philly, and I still feel that way. I don't think they're going to beat Cleveland, but they're the only team I feel that Cleveland doesn't want to play in the Eastern Conference playoffs.
Well, one thing about Philadelphia, their coach and how they play is underrated. People say, oh, Philadelphia's good. They got good young talent. But they don't really know how they play. They don't know for which the style they do play. And the one thing you didn't mention, Joel Embiid, that's the biggest problem for the Cavs. All right? How he could control the paint, leading the NBA in paints in the post-up, paints in the point.
Points in the paint.
And then also his ability to be able to stretch the court that he would bring either Kevin Love, Larry Nance Jr. to the three-point line, and they can drive to the hoop. That's one thing I've seen in this winning streak, their ability to run their offense and get good looks inside the paint. J.J. Redick is a nice role player, but in speaking about Philadelphia, speaking about the coaches, all positive things. If you're worried about Philadelphia, against the Cavs, that's a Cavs problem too. You might not want to admit that, but there's a problem in the Cavs and what you've seen with the Cavs, because at this point in the process, the Cleveland Cavaliers at full strength and LeBron, they wouldn't be worried. If they were playing good, they were playing at full strength, they wouldn't be worried about a team like Philadelphia. They got no experience. It's their first time collectively getting into the playoffs. So, yes, Philadelphia is doing well, but it's also because one of your eyes has watched Cleveland, and you realize they have some things that you don't know how they're going to transition to the playoffs.
And Cleveland, Rodney Hood in the game Friday night against Philadelphia. Rodney Hood leaves with a sore Achilles. That's been a knock on him throughout his career. George Hill still is not back. But you mentioned Joel Embiid. Listen, the Cavs have decided, with starting Kevin Love at center, going LeBron, Jeff Green, Kevin Love as your front line, no Larry Nance, no Tristan Thompson, we are going to give up something on the defensive end to gain it on the offensive end. That is also muted against Philadelphia, because Joel Embiid can go out and guard you 20 feet from the basket. Joel Embiid's going to be the defensive player of the year in this league, or at least he should be. And he can punish you, as CeCe mentioned, when he has the ball on the offensive end. The reason this game Friday night was so important, the game where Philly was up 30, Cleveland came nearly all the way back but ended up losing, is if Philly goes 2-0 down the stretch, if they win tonight, or if they win their last two games, their last game's against Milwaukee, they will be the 3 seed. Man, that 3 seed and potentially getting Boston in round 2 is a huge coup, as opposed to having to play Toronto in round 2. It might not matter that much to Cleveland. It matters a ton to these guys, because Boston, by the way, with no Kyrie Irving, all of a sudden they've got the same type of playoff experience Philadelphia does. Almost none outside of Al Horford and the head coach. So the game to watch in the Eastern Conference, there's only one game that matters the rest of the year in the Eastern Conference. Milwaukee and Philly Wednesday night. That's the game that will determine if Philly is the 3 seed or the 4 seed. That is enormously important to Cleveland and their ability to get through a series quickly, and Philly's ability to supercharge this process by potentially getting to the Eastern Conference Finals.
Are you encouraged by the fact that they played this well and they've missed Joel Embiid through a decent part of it? They do hopefully get him back for maybe he'll miss a game or two of the playoffs. My question would also be, what is considered success for the Sixers in the postseason? Do you see them getting out of the first round, no problem? If they get to the second round, is that a successful season with where they are right now?
Okay, the first part of your question, Joel Embiid had really started them on this winning streak. Now, that's why I've said the coaching has been so good, because they've changed their style just a little bit, because they don't have the post-up presence of Embiid in there. But they've been able to get to the basket, and they pass the ball marvelously as a basketball team. It's really a pleasure to watch. Now, Joel Embiid, I mean, what a personality, but what a talent. Now, I wouldn't want to play him. Now, you mentioned something about him playing defense. He can guard the three-point line. But if he's just on Kevin Love, there ain't no rim protection. So it plays into LeBron and the rest of the team getting to the hole. So I'm very interested in Philadelphia. It has shown a lot with them continuing this streak with him being out, but it's also showed the maturity and the growth of the rest of the team.
And you think this has already been a successful year? Like already, 50 wins making the playoffs, already been successful.
Regardless of what happens.
Listen, if they end up losing to Milwaukee and they fall to the 4 seed, Indiana's been good this year. Like, could Indiana theoretically beat them, particularly if Embiid misses?
That would be disappointing.
It would be disappointing if they lose to Indiana in round 1 or if they lose to Miami in round 1. It's already been a successful year in my eyes. For them to consider a success, you have to at least get to round 2, I'm sure. But they should remember, OKC, the first year, Harden, Russ, and Durant, 3 MVPs, made the playoffs. They lost in the first round. Now, they lost to the team that went on to win the title, Los Angeles Lakers, but they lost in the first round. But this is what they've done without Embiid. I know they had the easiest schedule in the league since Embiid went down. But the Cavs were their one tough game, and they were up 30 in the second quarter on Cleveland. That's a real thing that happened.
All right, coming up, how encouraged should we be about Tiger Woods after what we saw from the Masters this weekend? That's next on First Things First.